Word, son. What do you do, YouTube? It's your boy Jay Divine. Alright, man, before we get into this video, make sure you hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon so you're notified every time I upload. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, man, so I got a little, I don't know, I guess a precautionary tale about video editing. And if y'all haven't seen the title, ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed, this is not clickbait. And I was a very strong believer behind this software, but I have mixed feelings now. So make sure I sit back, chill, take a pee break, pause the video, get you some popcorn, because you know how I do. Without further ado, man, let's get into it. All right, man, so let's see. Let's rewind the time back to about, let's say about 2012, 2013, right? So I was in school and I didn't really have any way of getting funds other than trading in games or, you know, whatever amount of money that I saved up from my quote unquote allowance. You know what I'm saying? This is before I started working at Burger King. So at the time I was really heavy into YouTube and learning how to get certain software for free through cracks and keygens and stuff like that. So if you know about that, then you know, right? So cool. Now, whenever I was going to YouTube and looking this stuff up, what I would normally do is I would always try to, you know, find stuff that'll help my, you know, my workflow and stuff like that. Now, at the time I was trying to, you know, break into this YouTube thing or kind of find my lane into YouTube. So at the time I was using Sony Vegas Pro 14. That's what I was using at the time. Now, I've used that all the way up until, I would say probably all the way up until maybe 2021. That's probably around that time. So I've used it for a good amount of time, you know? So eventually it got to a point where I said, well, you know what? Let me go legit. And I went on ahead and bought the actual legit thing. I went legit, you know what I'm saying? I call myself making investments in myself, you know, getting better equipment, better hardware, you know, as far as microphone goes and you know, microphone, as far as the capture cards and getting a better laptop, you know, such a, you know, so on and so on and so forth, right? So I call myself trying to make these investments. So I said, all right, cool. I paid, wait for it, $300 to get Sony Vegas Pro 18. Now, at the time when I made that purchase, I said, cool, not a problem. You know what I mean? You know, it's going to be worth it. It kind of pays itself off in the long run, because, you know, I'm using it for my YouTube, and, you know, it's going to, like I said, it's going to pay for itself. So I was like, all right, cool. So didn't really have an issue with it, and it worked. It had no issues, none whatsoever. There'll be times where it'll crash, but then again, you know, what software do you know that you use that it rarely ever does crash? You know what I mean? It's going to happen sometimes. So I wasn't really tripping on it. It would have, you know, ironed itself out. So some time goes on and we are now going into 2023. As of recently, ladies and gentlemen, Sony Vegas Pro 18 has stopped working for me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Now, I don't know what their policy is. I'm pretty sure there's probably no refunds. I don't give a damn. I'm gonna find a way to get either that refund, or we're gonna find a way to remedy this, because ain't no way I'm spending $300 on a damn software and you mean to sit here and tell me that it just stops working. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, when I go in to try and be able to render said videos, normally I don't have a problem rendering these videos. I don't never ever have a problem doing it. But now it's gotten to the point where I would go in, and when I render the videos, or I would set it to render, and normally it'll go through the rendering stages, process, whatever, right? It would do like it would normally do. And at the time, most of the time, I would let it render, and my laptop fans would start turning up, and I could hear them spinning, you know, to keep the laptop cool or whatever. So it's not a problem. That's normal for the laptop. Now, most of the time, whenever it stops spinning and like it gets quiet, then I know that it's done rendering. So as of recently, ladies and gentlemen, my videos, I think even the X-Define video that I was trying to do, the reason why that never got put out put out on time, at least for me at least, the reason why that never got put out like it was supposed to was because of Sony Vegas Pro 18. Now, what it would do is it'll sit there and it'll do like this little thing where it'll give you like this elapsed time, and it'll give you this elapsed time or time remaining, and it'll estimate based off of how big the file is or how long the video is, and then it'll give you the countdown from there. So not a problem. And then it'll have like the little percentage, the little bar, and it'll fill up, depending on how far along you are with the rendering process. So like I said, most of the time from 0 to 100%, my fans will be turning up and they'll be, it'll be loud, you know what I mean? But when it quiet down, that means the render is done. What it'll do is it'll get to like 10, 15, 20%, and then it'll stop rendering. You know what I'm saying? Now, you would think that, oh, well, maybe it just froze on you, maybe it just crashed on you. Whenever I hit the task manager, when I hit the task manager and I cancel out the process, most of the time it'll say that, a box will pop up and say that Sony Vegas Pro has stopped working. We've encountered an error. Can you please tell us what went on before that happened? Blah, blah, blah. That doesn't even pop up anymore. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even ask me to send off an error report. It doesn't ask me nothing. It literally just closes out and I open it back up as if nothing happened. It doesn't say it crashed, it froze, no nothing. And, most of the time on Windows, whenever like something's frozen, it does that glossy field over the window, and then it'll say that, oh, such and such has stopped working. Do you want to wait for it, or do you want to, you want to cancel out the entire what's the name? You know how I normally do, but it doesn't do that for this. It literally just gets stuck. It freezes, but it doesn't recognize it as a freeze or like a crash. It doesn't do any of that. It's just like, well, I can't render it anymore. What you want me to do? That's practically what it does. So at that point, I'm just like, okay, so I go on the internet and I start trying to look for workarounds to this said thing. And people have also experienced this. So what they said to do was they said to take whatever you got in that project, open up another thing of Sony Vegas, and then paste everything that you got from that project over to the one you just opened, and then render it from there. That might have worked for maybe 1 or 2 videos. After that, it stopped working again. So some people's like, go into the settings and make it to where your hardware isn't being used for acceleration or something like that. Something you had to do in the settings that you had to tick a box, and you whatever it was, if it was on, you turned it off, or if it was off, you turned it on, whatever it was. But I did that, try to render it again, same exact thing. It literally would get to, and it will fluctuate sometimes. It'll get to 10, it'll stop. It'll get to 15, sometimes it'll stop. It'll get to 35 one time and it stopped. It got to like 78 one time and it stopped again. You know what I'm saying? No blue screen, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm literally like I'm ripping every thread of hair that's in my scalp out, because it's frustrating me to the point where now it's slowing down my workflow. I can't get these videos done like I want to. So now I'm going to have to pivot and find a new way to get these videos done, because first of all, second of all, I'm pissed because how do you spend $300 on something and then there's no guarantee that it's going to work? You know what I'm saying? And then before I even go any further into that, there's a thing up there where you can check for updates. And when I click it to see if there's an update for the what's the name, there is no update. But every time I open up Sony Vegas, they keep telling me that, oh, Sony Vegas Pro 20 is out, or Edit Pro 20 is out. Why don't you can upgrade for $60 versus the $400 you normally have to spend. It's a limited time offer, yada, yada, yada. And my thing is this: if you're anything like me, you don't really see a reason to update to the next version of said editor or editing software, because there's only 1 or 2 things that's been added on there and it isn't really indicative of what you do. You know what I'm saying? Or at least it doesn't matter to me. So I'm just like, well, like I said with Sony Vegas Pro 14, it worked so well for me that I didn't need to go to 18. You know what I'm saying? But I said, well, forget it. If I'm gonna make this investment, let me go and update the software I had. So I went and got 18. Now, like I said, if there's nothing new in these other iterations of that software, I'm not going to buy into it. There's no reason for me to do it, because at that point I'm throwing away money. Unbeknownst to me, I threw away money anyway, because since they started doing Sony Vegas Pro 20, they pretty much stopped supporting 19, 18, and then the other ones before that. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm sitting here with a $300 piece of software that I bought that no longer gets any kind of updates or has any more support for it. Now I got to sit here and I have to shell out more money to go to another iteration of this software or an updated version of this software. So now you squeeze out more money from me, and then at the same exact time, now you want to provide updates and coverage and support for this new brand of editing software. Oh, I said that twice. But now you're gonna tell me to upgrade to this new software so I have the coverage of updating and technical support and all this other stuff. Like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I think this is Magic's, if I'm not mistaken. You guys are pretty scummy for that. You know what I mean? And honestly, I will want a refund. Y'all can revoke my license and y'all can give me my money back, because it makes no sense for me to buy a piece of software, and then at the same time, when I'm buying the software, I expect it to have stability and updates. If by anything else, if all else fails, make sure it has stability to it. That's all I'm asking. But y'all can't even provide that because you decide to say, you know what, we're not gonna worry about this. Let's cut the support for those older ones and push them over to this new one that we got, and we'll offer all the support and updates for that one instead. Magic's, that's really scummy of y'all. That's really, really scummy. You know, it'd be different if I only pay like $40 for the software. You know, you get what you paid for. But when somebody drops down that amount of money for an editing software that you guys boast that is so great and all this other stuff, and then when it comes time for longevity of that software, there's none that you guys can support. Like, what part of the business is that? You know what I'm saying? I'm pissed, to be real with you. You know what I'm saying? Not because, you know, it stopped working, but because I put out that much money into your software, because the other ones work perfectly fine for me. But the minute that I do and go legit, then all of a sudden now you want to stop support for those, and you can't offer me any questions. So every video that you saw up to that point of X Defiant, I think, yeah, every video after X Defiant was made on Premiere Pro. That's going to officially be my new home now. And shout out to everybody that was on Twitter when I made that post on Twitter, or that tweet on Twitter when I said, you know, I need somebody to recommend me some video editing softwares, because apparently piece of shit Vegas Pro 18 stopped working and there's no support for it. There's no updates. So I need somebody to recommend me to, you know, their editing softwares or whatever. So I know Premiere Pro was in the back of my mind. That was first up. Then somebody said DaVinci Resolve. So shout out to y'all, man. If y'all see this video, shout out to y'all. Y'all know y'all are. But yeah, Sony Vegas or Magic's, whoever's in charge of that Sony Vegas Pro crap, whoever's in charge of that, you guys owe me money. Either that, or you can upgrade me to the newest version of Vegas Pro, zero, free of charge. Because how do you expect somebody to shell out more money to something that I can't even guarantee that there's gonna be stability and or updates for it? You know what I mean? That's kind of scummy, Magic's. That's very, very scummy. To anybody who's watching this video and he was thinking about getting Sony Vegas Pro, don't do it. Yeah, I'm saying it. Don't do it. And I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, well, maybe it's just your laptop. Maybe it's just, I have had worse laptops. I got a gaming laptop. I've had laptops to where it was like literally you just pretty much pay bills on. I had that kind of laptop making videos with Sony Vegas Pro 14, and it did just fine. Had no problems with it whatsoever. But there's no reason for me to have a $1,500 something gaming laptop, and you need to sit here and tell me that that's not enough to push out videos. I've been doing so many videos on this channel with that laptop, it don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that you guys can't offer stability, that's on y'all. It's not on the user, it's on y'all. But y'all know what y'all doing, bro. It's obvious that every single time you open up Sony Vegas, you keep telling me to upgrade to the new one. We know good and damn well that you're gonna stop support for the older one that I'm using. Y'all not gonna say that, but I peep game now. To anybody who has Sony Vegas Pro or is thinking about going to Sony Vegas Pro, don't do it. Don't even do it. I don't care. Y'all can get upset that I'm interfering with your customers and your sales. I don't care. Sony Vegas Pro is a piece of shit. I'm telling you, I'm so frustrated. I can't get my words out. I am not putting another dime into Sony Vegas or Magic's or whoever's in charge of that line. I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Premiere Pro is going to be my new home until further notice. I think I might make this my permanent home, because the UI is just it's just like chef's kiss. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not overly complicated. You know, I have Adobe Audition and Photoshop, so the shortcuts are still the same. You know, I know my way around it. All it takes maybe just a quick 20-second, 30-second YouTube video on how to do certain functions inside of it. But other than that, it's pretty much night and day from Sony Vegas. But the moral of this story is, ladies and gentlemen, Sony Vegas Pro is a piece of shit. Anybody who spends money on Sony Vegas, you pretty much just gave your money away. That was literally a donation. And I don't even think they're even associated with Sony. I think they cut ties a long time ago, but I guess they're still allowed to use the name or whatever. But I think that's why they call it Vegas Pro now. But the last iteration that I bought was Sony Vegas Pro. But I think after that, they ended up dropping the Sony part and they just using Vegas Pro now. But Magix, you guys are, y'all are full of shit, and your product is a piece of shit. I'm not spending another dime into your product. I'm just not doing it. I'm not upgrading, and I'm not spending money to upgrade, and I'm not using your product never again, ever again. Shit's a wash. It's a wrap. It's garbage. You guys can't even offer support. I'm done. But let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'm going to get up out of here. Make sure to hit the like button, comment, subscribe, share the word, spread the links, because you know how I do. I'm going to get up out of here, man. It's your boy Jay Devon, and I'm signing out. Peace.